and we're back.
Welcome to No Direction Beyond, your source for Starfinder's news and interviews. I'm Alexander Gunas, No Direction's everyman gamer, and I'm joined, as always, by the most intrepid Starfinder this side of the galaxy, James.
I'm James. I used to write Code Switch.
All right, here we are, fam. We're like 2 months out from the release of Starfinder Second Edition. Like, it is the last week of June as James and I are recording this episode 98. That means that we got to get through the July episode, and then by August we'll be drowning in Starfinder. Like, James and I won't know what to do anymore.
We could this 100% by accident because there's no way we could have timed this. Is that our 100th episode will be the release of Starfinder 2?
Oh my God, that's amazing. I'm so glad that like all those times where something happened and we didn't cancel, we just pushed it back. Like this month in June, we technically released recorded two episodes in June because my life exploded at the end of May last month. And it worked out. I was like, oh well, let's just do two anyway. Do in June. It's gonna work. Episode 100, Starfinder 2. It's gonna be so great.
Yeah,
I'm
because
very excited.
July would be 99, August would be 100. That is just a wild coincidence.
That is the best coincidence. Best
It makes it seem like we
coincidence.
set up something special for that instead of just going, man.
Do
I
we
hope there's a lot to read through.
do we do something special? Like, do we play a game, or like do we like run an adventure or something? If you have a thought on what we should do, you should join us at no direction podcast.com and join our Discord where you can tell James and I if you think we should do something special for the 100th episode, like an episode, or do we just review the Starfinder book? I feel like that's the sensible thing to do.
Yeah.
But we're not always sensible people. Sometimes we're just gremlins.
Yeah, I'm also fine with doing like a special stream for it, if it's not the initial stream or
Yeah,
something like that, just part of the celebration. I also do want to apologize for everybody watching. I am from the Shadow Realm now.
yeah, it's true.
My ring light decided not to work. Being in the hottest oven in a while, I guess just caused it to short. So audio
Yeah.
listeners won't care, but
James and I live in the greater Philadelphia region, and it was 103 degrees today. It was no bueno, no fun.
and it was
Uh,
like 100 yesterday.
but we're kind of like showcasing Zan Shalon, right? You've got the Zan, and I've got the Shalin. Zan Shalin. It's great because I fixed all the lights in my recording space, so I am like bathed in light. Like we are literally opposites. If you're watching this live, it's very funny.
I am bathed in shadow against my will.
Very funny. All right. So today, the big thing that's going on is that there's a new adventure that came out last week for Starfinder Second Edition. It was free RPG Day, and that means the adventure Battle for Nova Rush came out, and I picked up a copy, and I thought I'd give it a quick review. And James also has been doing a lot of hardcore work, learning the two playtest adventures. Correct?
Yeah, so I've done two of the Society ones, the Glass Planet and Came from the Vast. And
Mhm.
we started our first session of Cosmic Birthday last week. And
Yeah.
we got like three-quarters of the way through the first adventure.
So battle plan, James is going to review the society scenarios. I'm going to review Battle for Nova Rush, and then James is going to tell us a bit about how Cosmic Birthday played out, because James and I talked about Cosmic Birthday when it first came out a while ago, but when we did the playtest, I made up my own scenarios. I didn't use any of the content from the games because I knew a lot of people would be playing them, and I didn't want to put out spoilers on our channel for it. But
Yeah.
now it's been a bit. People who've wanted to play it have had the chance to, and we have James as some firsthand experience. So I'm really excited to go through and take a bite out of these four adventures.
Yeah, well, yeah, it's a couple. I think Cosmic Birthday is three of them. Cosmic Birthday is kind of like those old Pathfinder modules, like Drowned God, Vision Seers of the Drowned God and stuff, where you'd get three levels of experience going through them, and each
Mhm.
each book is supposed to equivocate to a level worth of experience. Um,
Oh, it's like Gallows of Madness, kind of.
that's it. That's it. Yeah, yeah. Gallows of Madness as well.
I love Gallows of Madness, one of my favorite adventures. So let me ask, gotta ask,
Mhm.
does it play better than Doomsday Dawn?
Yes, but purely because I think it's a more tested system by this point.
That's fair. For those listeners who don't know, maybe you're Starfinder fans who haven't engaged with Pathfinder Second Edition much. Doomsday Dawn was the playtest adventure that they put out for Pathfinder Second Edition. We at No Direction actually played that adventure. We got through like the first two parts, and we weren't a fan of it collectively as a group. And we decided that rather than do something we weren't enjoying, we would just sit that on the shelf and push it away,
Yeah,
far away.
yeah. So far, well, specifically for all my playtesting, I got a group of people that that have not played Starfinder, have most of them have not played 2E, and some of them are pretty much new to role playing games. So I wanted to go in with a group that, because the group that I play with, very nice, love playing with them. They have their own biases that are kind of worked into there, so I wanted to kind of take the system with a group of people that didn't have a lot of those pre biases there. So for Cosmic Birthday, because of scheduling issues with the society test group, I did have to replace a person, and I got Lauren.
Oh,
Yeah, so she's one of the people playing. So she has a lot of 2E knowledge.
so
Uh,
these aren't the games that Robin and Nate are in then.
these are.
These are.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. That makes sense because Nate wouldn't have had any Starfinder experience for 1E, and Robin is a pretty good like test because Robin has been gaming with James and I for like ever.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And I have somebody who plays a lot of 5E as well, and is looking at other systems but didn't want to run them because they tend to GM their systems.
Valid.
Yeah, we totally get it. So I wanted to get just like a good cross section of people that were enthusiastic to get rules wrong, because a lot of people feel a lot of stress, especially when you put them into
Yeah.
something new that they have to do it right. I did put one caveat in that things don't just hurt you when they beat your AC by 10. I just put it to 15. So far, it hasn't had any negative effects on the game flow. Hasn't made players feel too invincible or anything like that. They still get their butts whooped. Uh, Cosmic Birthday itself is a little bit weird because it does a very hot drop, because it's obvious that it's a playtest adventure made to um, get people that are interested into the system up to speed with second edition, and
Mhm,
not introduce them to Starfinder first edition.
mhm,
So a lot of things, they start off players not knowing anything about the setting, and they're being told all these things are happening, but they have no idea why the significance. Like there, for example, is a section that has something about the swarm in it, and
oh.
my player's just like, why do these things matter? It's like, well, your characters would know this, but this was a big deal like 30 years ago.
This
I,
is a big deal when you were a baby.
yeah, so like I know you have no frame of reference for it, and you're not, I needed to come out of the game just to kind of tell them that, like, because they were like, what is the significance? It's like, there is significance. It's
Do
actually
you
not that important.
do you think that's a strength of the adventure, or is that like a weakness, you think?
I mean, that's definitely a weakness, but that's kind of the issue with playtest adventures. You have to use them to get data, and you're going to get data from the people that are most invested in the
Yeah.
system.
Yeah, I feel like there's a bit of fairness to that though, because like,
Mm-hmm.
you know, from a setting, if you a setting standpoint, if you're interested in Starfinder because you like Starfinder, you're coming from first edition and you will know all this stuff. But if you're interested in from a mechanic perspective, you're probably coming from second edition Pathfinder, maybe Starfinder, but like those two, Starfinder 1, 2E and Pathfinder 2E are like the same.
Yeah.
So like getting all of those people from Pathfinder in and then not explaining the world to them does sound like a problem.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see how it goes as we
Mm,
go through it. Like the big meta part of it so far in the first part is at least understood. Like, hey, there's a thing, and it seems like there's a crisis, and that is
mm,
easily gotten through. Uh,
yeah, that's
it
fair.
it is very combat heavy, because it's supposed to be testing mechanics.
Yeah.
Uh, it does thankfully not put players on a time limit, and our players have enjoyed that. Uh,
Uh,
they've been learning a lot about medicine and taking time. It does make me miss the stamina rules. I know they're an optional in 2E for Pathfinder,
yeah.
so that might be something that going forward in a different game we would implement. Uh, just because it does that seems more fitting of the setting, to just take a
Yeah.
breather than just start doing a bunch of medicine. It kind of slows down. It makes you feel less cool. I don't know.
Yeah.
Like it's weird because I don't find that weird for like a Pathfinder style game, but for a
Mhm.
Starfinder game, it's like, oh, this is this kind of takes you out of it.
Yeah, I know. Correct me if I'm wrong, but my vibe is that like in Pathfinder, it's sword and sorcery, so you expect sorcery to solve all the problems. But Starfinder, Like, I think that they're definitely trying to amp up the magic in second edition, which I think is a good thing because a lot of times I felt like first edition Starfinder was just trying to be like popular meme like settings and ideas for adventures, and then
Hmm.
just with sometimes magic. And now that they're like, oh, there are actually ninth level spells in Starfinder, there's 10th level spells in Starfinder, it makes sense. But also, I agree with you that the genre kind of lends itself to, okay, let's go.
Yeah, yeah, a lot of just quick recovery. Uh,
Yeah.
Also, I did have a player make me pull out Galaxy Guide, which is pretty funny. Because the first part of this adventure takes place in the ghost levels, and
uh,
they use the spell Scan Area, and I looked at the area on the map, and I'm like, what are some common hazards of the ghost levels? And I had to pull out the book, uh,
you did it.
and
Yo.
I know, and it was a pretty good reference. I mean, it some of the stuff they're not going to encounter in there, but
Uh,
it was good to be able to throw that out there and reward them for making checks about knowing about the ghost levels, because there's some specific ghost level things that people had accessed from the Galaxy Guide because I provided that to them. So it's like, here to reward your background with it, you're going to get more information about it. It's not going to matter a lot here, but just in case.
no, but that's like when we play Pathfinder First Edition and you spend the start of every day casting locate portal. I get it.
One day I'm going to find a portal.
The fact that our GM checks the map every time you ask makes me think that someday you will.
I mean, it's there's obviously going to be a Fey portal somewhere in a jungle adventure path. So yeah, for Cosmic Birthday, they've gone through it. They've all been kind of afraid of magic. Our most experienced player ended up playing the Mystic, and
Oh,
because of how quickly fights are ending, they haven't had to use a lot of magic in fight time. But they also have an operative, a um, soldier, a Solarian, and an envoy. And
oh, big team, big team.
well, we got five, so that means I can run with four.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That
Although
makes
it looks
sense.
like for a second session we'll also have five, which is totally fine. I'm fine with running with five.
Yeah, totally.
Um, we have had a couple instances of shoot get them, which is pretty funny.
Boom, get that one.
Get the one I just
Uh,
shot.
Envoy is very good. I enjoy that class. It's one of my favorite in the 2E design space for sure.
Yeah, the players thankfully came with a really strong idea of what they wanted their characters to be.
Mm.
Although Lord is playing Evlaka and is having trouble reconciling being blind.
Oh, does Lauren know that they don't have to be blind if they don't want to?
Yeah,
Like, it's an option out of three.
yeah, that's what you chose. She's like, well, I can hear and smell real good. I'm like, yeah, so you notice things kind of like sight. It's a precise sense. It's like, yeah, so
Yeah.
you see the colors, and she's just like, they're like, I'm blind. Like if you if you've ever seen Anchorman 2, where Ron Burgundy's in the lighthouse, or just like eating caulk and checkers, it's like you don't have to
you
be doing that.
you just gotta say to Lauren, it's like you're tough. It's okay, cool.
Yeah,
Be
you're
good.
you're fine. You're what's that blind hero? Not Deadpool, same color armor.
Daredevil.
Daredevil. Yeah, it's just like you're Daredevil but with a nose and ears. Like you're
Yeah,
good up to a range.
and a tail,
Mm-hmm.
a fluffy one. The
Yeah.
best part.
Yeah, so she's playing a soldier that does flamethrower shenanigans. So it's been pretty cool
Very
to
good.
see people get suppressed after being flamethrowered.
I love that Lauren is blind, so like the bright light of the fire does not bother them, and
Yeah,
also like they don't have to see the terrible, horrible like look of the person going
yeah, the
as
consequences of
they're
engulfing a being in flame. Yeah,
exactly.
and you know where the fire is
It's
because that's
gonna
warm. You feel
we
that.
smell it. I mean that's the downside. Lauren has to smell the flesh cook with a
with,
precise.
with a, yeah, that is pretty gross. There's been a fair amount of variety in the enemy type. It has been creepy, which is fitting of the ghost levels, which is AKA the back rooms.
Yeah, yeah, it's
um,
it's literally the back rooms.
yeah. So they're about to come to the crescendo of Act One, and they did it perfectly. Where for our next session of time, they're going to finish the first part and then get maybe a quarter into the second part. But
Oh, that's good.
yeah, but it's not linear in that way from what I was reading. So
Mhm.
looks like I'm gonna have to prepare a couple things.
Well, if anybody is in a good place to give them a good time, it's you, James. I look forward to hearing more about how the adventure went after you finish it, maybe in a couple weeks, months,
Yeah, probably a couple months.
quarters. You got it. I believe in you. You got this.
So why don't you give us a run over of Nova Rush?
Yeah, let's. So the first thing that I thought was really cool about Battlefield Overrush, which if you were watching live, I'm holding this in my hand right now. You currently can't get the PDF for this. Paizo typically doesn't put the PDF for the free RPG product until a couple months. So I can't show you pretty pictures, but I can hold the book in meat space. That's about all I got. So what's interesting about this is two things. The first is, do you remember the Sunrise Maiden starship from first edition?
Hmm.
Right. So that's no longer the iconic starship. It's the Nova Rush. So this
Mm.
adventure is basically about how the PCs get their starship,
Mm.
which is pretty cool. I like that from a storytelling perspective. It definitely makes me feel like Starfinder is being developed with like these iconic characters as having more of a story to them, if that makes sense.
Hmm.
It kind of goes along with what we know about that Starfinder Tales novel that's coming out, where the one of the stories being told is from Chick and Dai's perspective in the present, as they're learning about, like, they're reading like the records of like an android that woke up right after the gap 300, 400 years ago.
Hmm.
So obviously, like most of the free RPG day adventures, this is very short. It's only like 4, maybe 6 pages of adventure. Like, there's a whole bunch of rooms on the starship. There's like 3 encounters, a couple of skill stuff here and there, and you're done, which is fine. You know, it's an introductory free adventure.
Hmm.
The art is beautiful. It is completely up to Paizo Adventure Pass standard. It's very clear that they want someone picking this up to be impressed by how beautiful the Starfinder adventure line looks, and this is wonderful.
Hmm.
There are 4 pre-generated characters in this adventure book. They are Chick, the iconic mystic, Day, I'm sorry, Day, the iconic Solarian,
Hmm.
Elspeth, the iconic android, and Navasi,
Hmm.
right, the iconic envoy. What I really like about this is, for each of these 4 characters, they've basically taken their backstory from the Paizo blog and they've reprinted it here in
Okay.
the little folio. So the whole story is there, and the only reason I recognized it is because Chicks and Days are pretty reasonably like new, so I recognized, like, oh, this is the same thing.
Hmm.
The other thing that it does that's really interesting is it talks a bit about, if you've ever seen the Starfinder core rulebook, each of the species has playing this class, playing this ancestry, playing this whatever. It gives you like some tips.
Hmm.
There's actually a playing this section for each of the iconics, where it talks a little bit about what their class role is, the types of things they do, some of their major personality traits, and then there's like a little blurb on the. It says this is what this character does in combat, and it's written from a story perspective. It says stuff like, Chick uses his mystic bond to keep track of his allies and their state of being. When he rolls initiative, he adds +2 from his holy talisman. So, like, as it goes through, it takes all of the mechanics of actually how to play the class, the character in combat,
Hmm.
but writes it as like this is a thing the character does. And I'm
Mm.
like, it's cool. And then the last part that I really liked about it, in addition to having a stat block for each of the characters, which, you know, you need the stats to play, it also has a little bit of like a blurb about each of the 4's characters, like relationships to one another,
Hmm.
which that's really cool. And I imagine this probably was written because, like, in the backstory, Day and Chick are like literally best friends. So like their 2 entries kind of reflect that, where like Days is like, or Chicks is like, Chick really appreciates Day, and he's inseparable from them, and Day is helping him get out of his shell. And then like you read Days, and Days is like, Chick and Day like to keep up a conversation over units or telepathy, and they're best friends, and sometimes they can communicate with a little more than a shared look. So like Days reflects more of like the physicality, like the presence, which is probably what Day values in their relationship, and Chicks is more about like how it makes Chick feel, those emotions, that tortured artist in his soul. Like, all of them are like this. Like,
Hmm.
another good one is how Day and Elspeth apparently have, or I think that's how you say his name, Ispleth, the android.
Hmm.
It talks about how they get into basically Gimli and Legolas style like shoot off context. Oh, I bet that I can shoot this guy better than you. Oh, you did it. And so like, and it talks about it how the android is like, I'm a better shot. I know I am. I've got the aim ability. but I can't say no to a chance to show off how good I am compared to the show off cat. So this is fine. And it's all good. Like it's
Yeah,
very interpersonal. It makes me feel like you could hand this to a author and they could write some like slash fiction or something with them. It's great.
yeah.
Um, and that's not even talking about the adventure. The adventure, it's pretty simple. The basic premise of it is the players get locked up by the pirates at the start of the adventure, and they have to go kill the pirate captain in order to free themselves. Essentially, along the way, they find out that the ship was programmed with a captain concierge AI, and that AI is not very happy because the person who programmed him and the previous owner of the ship was killed by the pirates.
Hmm.
But the since Captain Concierge is a virtual intelligence, he's bound by his programming and can't defy the person who is the captain. So he's like, well, I can't defy them, but my programming doesn't say I can't help you too. So basically Captain Concierge tries to help the player characters take down the pirate captain, and if they're successful, they get the starship, the Nova Rush out of it, which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
There's a little bit of art in here about what it looks like. There's nothing like Starship Combat. There's honestly not a whole lot of there's some exploration mode, but there's not a whole lot of like skill checks to be done or anything. It's kind of just walk into each encounter and then beat the boss and you get your starship. It
Mm.
feels very tutorial mode, which I think is good.
Yeah, yeah, that's what it should be. And also with the concierge, they're giving a lifeline in case players are having a real hard time.
Yeah, absolutely. And the other thing too is it gives them this option in order to like have this character be part of their like books and their story going forward. Because like we've seen that the Starfinder team likes to put Captain Concierge in little like sidebars to like basically as the writers talking to the reader,
Hmm.
which is
Hmm.
cool. Like I think that giving him a place where he is canonically the AI of the like basically the iconic AI is
Yeah, yeah.
good. I love the cover. The cover is a very dynamic piece that shows Chick Chick and Die fighting the pirate captain. That's actually her artwork. It's really cool. What's really funny is I'm going to try to bring it kind of close to my camera here, but you could see in the corner that this is actually Captain Concierge, and in the under the Starfinder logo, he gets Mike Wazowski. It's very funny. Because like you look on the inside and they have the cover art on the inside cover, and you can see that he's in the corner. This is him right here under the star in Starfinder. Captain Concierge found the star, everybody. And I saw that it was him, and I was like, oh my gosh, they Mike Wazowski'd him, and that is something that doesn't matter to anything, but it really makes me smile. So there you go.
Yeah, I do wish that the pre-gens got like different loadouts for different adventures, like alternate
Yeah,
loadouts, but that's fine because they're starter characters and they're meant to be easy.
definitely. And they are well done. They're fine. Like they have everything you need to run, and it's kind of like they're very bare bones,
Hmm.
but also that's kind of what I expect. That being said, one thing that will make this harder, this adventure kinda you either need the playtest book or the final book to use this adventure
Hmm.
because it talks about like the feats they get and whatnot, and none of that text is reprinted here.
Mm.
So like it'll tell you, oh, Navasi has Getum. Doesn't tell you what Getum is. You need to know. So on one hand, I think that I really like all of the fun little flavor and I like the reprinting of all the backstories.
Hmm.
But I also think that a free adventure to try to get your players hooked that doesn't but I don't know. But like on one hand, it doesn't it requires the core rulebook, but I imagine that it's all going to be up on Archives of Nethys for free, like it typically is within a couple weeks. So
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, I maybe it's not a big deal. I have a hard time of making the argument of you should be reprinting everything in the rules when it's all free, like
Yeah. True,
and it
true.
just like I wonder, did they write in here that you can find it on Archives of Nethys?
Probably not on
No.
Nethys.
Yeah.
Probably
No,
giving you a
that's
website to the rules for it, and you can just bring up your phone and just
yeah.
download them.
Yeah, it does talk about how it says they were built using the playtest rules available as a free PDF from starfinderplaytest.com, which is fine.
Yeah,
Okay, yeah, I mean, it's all free,
yeah,
whatever, it's fine.
yeah. I wish when you did pre-gens that you would give their abilities like you do on a full pre-gen sheet. But once again,
Yeah,
splitting hairs, splitting hairs.
yeah. I always like that about Society Pregen, so I agree
Yeah,
with you.
yeah,
All right, so are we ready to talk about the Starfinder adventures, the
yeah,
Society?
yeah.
Yeah,
I've run two of those, and that was kind of the the what do you call it, practice run for the group, to make
Hmm.
sure that A, everybody was comfortable with each other, and B, the timing worked for everybody and everything, and that people liked the game.
Hmm.
We did Shards of a Glass Planet, which is you get sent by the Xeno Wardens to a planet that has mysterious stuff on it, and you
Ooh.
find the mystery. And it is a pretty neat mystery, especially to drop people into, because it is Starfinder adjacent without needing to know much about the setting. Besides,
Mhm.
weird, creepy stuff happens. And
Mm.
it's, well, not a horror adventure. Some of the stuff is like, what? Um, some of the stuff I did have to draw, and that's always a travesty because I'm a terrible artist. But they enjoyed the stick figures that helped explain, as they did really well on a lot of investigation. Like
Mhm.
there's a lot of stuff in the book that really covers in that module that covers for either not having the skills or failing checks. My group
Mhm.
did neither of those. They were spot on with checks. They were spot on with like lines of questioning and exploration in general.
That
Um,
makes sense. Nate's dice are always very good for story beats.
and also like there's a fair amount of encounters. Um, some of them are pretty busy, I think,
Uh-huh.
for not a lot of payoff, but that is
Mm.
fine. I think
Mm.
I think that ends up making it pretty low stakes and easy to get through.
Mhm.
Because I think we finished this one in 3 hours with introductions and kind of messing about a bit,
Yeah.
which is totally fun because we're shooting for 3 hours a session just because we're also dealing with people in uh, East Coast, Central, and West Coast time zones. Uh,
That's hard.
yeah, so we kind of make it so that everybody can go, but it ends up being weird times, so we don't want to keep people too long at certain times of their day. Uh,
Yeah.
so they did well with that, and then they went on to It Came from the Vast, which is a fifth level adventure. All of them played pre-gen, the same pre-gen, just advanced to fifth level.
Mm.
Um, yeah, so there was one of the newer players, one that did a lot of 5e, did the Witch Warper. Um,
Mm.
and she did a real good job after jumping in with something that is arguably hard to understand. Uh,
Yeah.
a whole different magic system. Um,
Yeah. And I
and
would also argue that like the focus spell components and like some of the stuff that Witch Warper does is arguably the most complicated class in the core rulebook for Starfinder.
yeah, a lot of area stuff and a lot of like, hey, if you're using this ability, let me know, and I can put an aura to help you, and I can read off stuff if because I was
Yeah.
messaging before, like if you need help with this, that's totally fine. I can get a list of things that are like tags. I did this also as well, just like a list of tags and what they mean, so that people can look them up ahead of time, and also
Mhm.
just if you need a hand, I can look through this with you. But she did great.
Well, you said she was a 5e player. She's like, no, James, I'm used to having no sidebar with no appendix and no, or an appendix and no God, what's it called? The thing in the back, not
Index.
appendix, index,
Mm-hmm.
whatever, appendice, whatever it's called,
Mm-hmm.
with no resources to actually search through this book. Like, because I mean, I play in a 5e game with one of my World of Warcraft buddies, and like half the time I'm like, all right, well, I'm gonna punch him. He's like, okay, the guy is gonna cast a spell, and I'm like, are there opportunity attacks in this game? I was like, I don't know how to look it up. The number is like size 6. The page number is size 6 font, and there's nothing in the back that tells me where things are.
mm, mm.
And the GM is like, no, there's not. And I'm like, so he's gonna cast a spell, and I just can't stop him. I can't shove a gym sock in his mouth. I like that about Starfinder, that a soldier can just take a gym sock and shove it into a witch warper's mouth, and the spell goes away.
I think that's very beautiful. I enjoy
Nature
AOPs.
is healing.
Yeah, I enjoy attacks of opportunity. I get why people don't like them, but those people are wrong. Uh,
I
it's a matter of opinion, but that's one of the hills I'll die on. Uh,
you haven't lived until you have stepped up and struck somebody.
you haven't lived until you've just cast something in somebody's face to let them know you're not afraid of them.
Uh-huh.
It's
And they failed to stop
Exactly.
you.
It's easy to be a wizard and just get to do stuff, wangledy pangledy. But when you do it knowing that you either don't care or that this cast of the spell is more important than your life, that's a different experience.
Yeah.
So It Came from the Vast is like a kind of like The Thing, sort of.
Mm.
Kind of plot there. You go into space and find an abandoned derelict that, surprise, surprise, has something. My players went through this adventure backwards. So
That's hilarious.
they found a secret entrance very early on and didn't understand why anything was happening until they got to the beginning by accident, like 2 hours into it. and they're like, "Oh, this is why everything's like this." So it's like, yeah, you idiots went through a hidden door for no reason. You would have understood stuff if you took the regular door that it tells you to go through.
That's so funny.
But
Is the adventure written like that going through backwards is an option?
yeah, yeah, you could totally, if you roll high enough, find a secret door behind something to get in through basically a door adjacent to the end. And they could have
That's
gone
so
to the
funny.
end and instead worked their way back towards the beginning. So they find all the mess, but none of the explanation.
That's so funny. That's so funny.
They were very confused. They were just like, "Oh, this sucks. There's just stuff everywhere. What's happening?" It's like, man, if only you went to the other room first, you would have known.
Listen. There were train tracks here, and you decided to just drive the train backwards.
Yeah, they really like this adventure, specifically because the final boss has a lot of interesting mechanics, and
Yeah.
it takes place in a very interesting setting on the ship. Uh, and there's a fun way that players can get thrown off of a moving starship, and that's hilarious. And the Sonera
Oh,
does a good
is
job.
that is that where someone got ejected?
Hmm.
Is that
Hmm.
this?
Hmm.
Okay, I heard this story sitting in a World of Warcraft chat with a friend.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah. The scenario provides ways to make sure people don't lose their characters immediately, but it is a funny mechanic, and I
I love it.
enjoyed it greatly, and the players did as well. So
I imagine that you enjoyed yeeting people into the void of space.
I'll tell you, the final boss there does a lot of good things with with one big character, making them feel approachable but scary still. Um,
Yeah,
and it gives you a lot of options to hurt them while not necessarily feeling like you're holding back. Because, like, if you just choose to attack 3 times, that thing is going to rip your players apart.
yeah.
But they give some good instructions on what it wants to do, and I did appreciate that a lot.
Mm,
And they're not stupid. They're actually not stupid tactics, which sometimes you get into that hang of when they're trying to be
yeah.
softballing things. Um, but it had a very good tie into the ship you're on. It was a really good end fight. I would highly recommend It Came from the Vast. I think that's a very well written scenario.
Nice. So let me ask you then. You mentioned that several of your players obviously had some tabletop role playing game experience, but most of them either had never played Starfinder before, never played a 2E game before.
Hmm.
How did the players who had never played 2E before feel about like how monsters are built, the types of abilities and actions that they get?
Well, that's easy because they had no clue. They're just
They
like,
had no
yeah, I
clue.
guess this thing does it.
They're like, oh, the monster grabs me and shoves me into its mouth. I guess it's just a thing it can do.
Yeah,
I guess I'm just gonna get eaten.
yeah. So like that's one of the reasons why I wanted newer people, because
Yeah.
people that are more experienced in those games tend to dig down. Also, I think Pathfinder also does that thing where, or 2E does that thing where they're like, oh, enemies and monster or players and monsters are fundamentally different, so we're going to use different rules for them. But
Uh,
in Starfinder, because everything was kind of wacky to begin with, them playing by different rules, also how NPC generation was in Starfinder One, it's
yeah.
it's not such a stretch. That's kind of where I'm coming from Starfinder to 2E. 1 to
Yeah.
2E is that because Starfinder 1E was kind of a weird middle child, it's not as
Yeah.
big of a leap. But there's like,
Yeah.
yeah, I guess it does this, and I feel like I have the tools in general to deal with this. So they
Yeah.
never felt hopeless or anything.
Yeah. It's not like in Pathfinder First Edition, where Pathfinder First Edition was kind of built with the assumption that like the rules were different, but you were kind of all working off the same math and the same progression, if that
Hmm.
makes sense.
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
so like there's kind of this expectation that like you guys are on a similar playing field. But Starfinder had the alien building rules from the first thing where you did like they were just dramatically different for how you would build things.
Yep, it goes off
So
of arrays and type and ability, and not even level level of
yeah,
class plus species bonus. Like it's a completely different setup.
yeah. So it sounds like you had a good time running this game.
Yeah,
Um, do you think this group is going to be interested in playing more once you guys are done what you're doing?
I would like to run more. I think
Mm,
I would like to see a little bit more higher level stuff. A lot of
mm,
this, like, it came from the vast as a 5th level venture. Cosmic Birthday ends at 4th. I
mhm.
do want to see how the system holds up when you're at like 11th, 12th, and I know the society scenarios aren't going to go that
Well,
high.
I think there's a second module that's the one that's start that kicks off the Vesca and Aslanti at war.
Hmm.
So I think that one's like level 10 or like it's either 7 or 10 or something like that. So that might be a good pick for you.
Yeah, well, you have a 10, which is a Wheel of Monsters, which is
Yeah,
that Zoe playtest.
yeah.
And then the 15th level Rescue at Shimmerstone Mine.
Uh-huh.
I'm a little bit wary about throwing them straight into a 15. Uh, because that's should I don't know. Whenever I think of 15th level, I think of it in Pathfinder terms, where like a 5th
Uh-huh.
level Pathfinder character versus a 15th level Pathfinder character is a completely different ballgame.
I so in my experience, in something like this, you
Mhm,
have to imagine like what would a Pathfinder character look like if they were a 15th level fighter in terms of the number of options
mm,
they have because you get a
mhm,
you get a feat at every level.
yeah.
So like uh or you get two feats at every level. You get a skill feat and you get a class feat.
Mhm,
So there's like a lot that you can do. And I definitely think that it would be hard for a newer player. I think you probably want to try that 7th level one before you go to the 15th level one.
yeah, yeah, the
Definitely
10th
like
level one,
kind of
yeah.
you bring them up nice and slow, nice and easy. Good times. Good
Yeah.
times.
So I do think they'll need that time, just because they're also new to leveling. I'm sure in the day before we run the next game, I will get a bunch of messages saying, "Hey, is this right?" Which is totally
Uh
fine.
well, I know that your strategy is usually to shrug and say, I don't know, we'll figure it out together.
I mean, I did review the characters, and some people were missing stats, and they were very thankful to realize that they were missing a stat for some reason.
Oh yeah, that'll crush you in this game where the bonuses are less plentiful and
Hmm.
harder to make up.
Yeah.
Definitely.
So, I review it for their good.
There, yeah, yeah, yeah. So I mean, I know that when we played, you used to run you ran Dead Suns for us way back at the start of first edition Starfinder.
Hmm.
What's one thing that you think that Starfinder GMing in 2E does better than 1E?
Yeah, 2E does better than 1E.
Yeah.
GMing. I think the stat blocks so far in 2E
Mhm.
are better,
Mhm.
which
What's
it just seems like more information is packed into a smaller form factor.
yeah.
So it just makes them more readable.
I know we've talked before about how much you like Monty Cook's cipher system and
Yeah.
how the stat blocks for that are like tiny and they're just in the margins of the
Oh yeah,
page.
Numenera stat blocks are amazing. They're like
Yeah.
they're
It was in
teeny.
Cipher, it was Numenera, got it.
Numenera is a cipher system game, if I remember right.
Oh, okay, cool.
Hmm.
I
Hmm.
remembered. I remembered the thing.
Numenera is fun.
Um,
Eventually, we'll get a group and play it because I know Mike wants to play it.
yeah, I'd like to try that. You talk pretty really highly of it.
I ran
Now,
Society for it for a little bit.
yeah, I remember.
Hmm.
That was before your daughter was born, and
Oh yeah,
most of your
it,
time has to go to your child.
that was in the before times.
The before time. What's one thing that you think feels like either a miss or something that Starfinder 1E does better than 2E in terms of GMing?
Hmm. I'm just taking a while to think because I don't think I had many issues so far. Um, and I haven't had any of the players do any of the really like in-depth questions about why things are happening. Um,
Mm,
I think that it is a miss that they didn't reprint some of the things you're going to be doing a lot in the core book, and you have to go back to the Pathfinder core book for things like
mm,
medicine. But that
yeah,
is a small complaint because I don't know.
yeah,
Yeah, it's just confusing to have people hop between books. I know people
yeah.
were looking up things and hopping between the playtest book and then going to Nethys to look it up from the Pathfinder 2e part of the game.
Yeah. Hopefully that'll be better once the actual Starfinder core rulebook comes out and all those rules are in the Starfinder book. Because we know that like anything that was omitted and pointed to the Pathfinder book will just be printed in the new one.
Yeah,
So like the medicine rules, it won't tell you to go Pathfinder.
yeah,
Certainly, for the longest time since James and I started covering 2E, the one thing we've been adamant about is that this edition fails if it feels like an expansion of Pathfinder rather than its own thing.
yeah,
And I think that there's no way to make that happen better than to require you to look up Pathfinder stuff.
yeah.
If James is gonna let me play a wizard from the Pathfinder second edition rulebook in a game, that's one thing because that's my choice to be silly and weird.
Hmm.
But if I can't do the medicine skill without looking up something in the Pathfinder book, I think that's a problem.
Yeah, it's just something that there was something else that a player had asked questions about, and there was a Starfinder answer, and then we're like, oh, you need to use the Pathfinder answer for that. And I forget
Yeah.
what the specific thing was, but I think it was something that we were confused about, and then Lauren was like,
Mhm.
oh, it's in the 2E rulebook, and it's this way. It's like, oh, thank you for being here and having a
Yeah.
knowledge of 2E. We
You're
would have been
amazing, Lauren.
yeah, we would have been here for 15 minutes trying to figure that out. We're a bunch of
Yeah.
dummies.
Lauren is fantastic.
Hmm, hmm.
I definitely so. Um, well, so I think that where we're at right now is pretty good. You know, we've gone over all of the new stuff.
Yeah,
Uh, in terms of like Paizo content right now, we're sort of in like it's the calm before the storm. We're in the eye of the hurricane right now, and we're just waiting to open our arms and be embraced by all of the Starfinder that we're going to get in like 2 months.
yeah, yeah. It's
Yeah.
coming up, so we're trying to figure out something for the next show
Yeah.
besides us just going over hopes and dreams. We are gonna have show
Yeah.
99 because I think it's really cool to do Starfinder 2 on episode
Yeah.
100.
Yeah.
But
Maybe I mean like maybe we can like we'll figure out something.
yeah,
I've got a couple ideas of some stuff that we could try that might be fun. Like oh, I shouldn't say it here though in case
yeah,
do we
yeah,
want it to be a surprise? Yeah.
yeah,
Well, James
yeah.
and I will talk about it
We'll talk.
later.
We'll talk.
But for now you know, honestly, there's not a whole lot to talk about today. So I think James and I are gonna call the episode a little bit early. We typically try to go for an hour. 45 minutes is pretty good
Yeah.
though.
Also, it's very hot in this office, and I want to die.
Yeah, it's like 103 degrees, and the amount of static and like noise that air conditioners make means it's not great to keep them on. So we're dying. Please send help. Uh, and that help can just be relief. But until next time, go beyond with no direction.